Hops off the plane at LAX with a dream in my cardigan. Welcome to the land of fame excess. Am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood sign. This is all so crazy. Everybody seems so famous. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the taxi man turned on the radio and a Jay-Z song was on. And the Jay-Z song was on. And the Jay-Z song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. I know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Get to the club in my taxi cab. Everybody's looking at me now. Like, who's that chick that's rocking kicks? She gotta be from out of town. So hard with my girls not around me. It's definitely not a Nashville party. Cause all I see is the letters. I guess I never got the memo. My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. That's when the DJ dropped my favorite tune. And the Britney song was on. And the Britney song was on. And the Britney song was on. So I put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. You know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Feel like I've been on a flight back to my hometown tonight. Something stops me every time. The DJ plays my song and I feel alright. So I put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. You know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Put my hands up to play my song. The butterflies fly away. Nodding my head like yeah. Moving my hips like yeah. Got my hands up to play my song. You know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. It's a party in the USA. Yeah. It's a party in the USA.
All right, PFEW, you've been dancing all week. How about we switch it up and do a little singing today? Here we go.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Hand, touching hands, reaching out, touching me.
Here we go. Here we
touching
go.
you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never was, but now I look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, hurting runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you? Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Oh, no, no. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. Sweet Caroline, I believe they never could.
All right, man. All right. Good morning, PFEW. Not bad, not bad. All right. How was Beats and Treats last night? Yeah. All right. Fantastic. So today is what we call the longest day at PFEW. So work hard, support your CEOs, go to your CAs for help, make sure you rehearse, finish up those all important projects because tomorrow it's game on. It is competition day. So we want to see some bright smiling faces, a lot of energy, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to switch it up right about now. We have a gentleman here with us today who knows all about sports. In case some of you don't realize, we have a thing going on right now called the Olympics. And he used to work for the Olympic Committee, but you know, right now he has a little different tact and he's going to tell us all about what's going on in sports today. We're very excited to have him here to introduce our very special speaker. It gives me great pleasure to introduce two of your own CEOs. Please give a warm PFEW welcome from Company A1, Miss Sydney Brown, and from Company F3, there you go, from Company F3, Miss Gina Resempelich.
Good morning, PFEW. I'm Sydney Brown, the proud CEO of A1.
And I'm Gina, the proud CEO of F3.
Our special guest today is Chris Snyder, who also goes by Coach Chris. Chris is the Vice President of Operations for I9 Sports. He attended Wyomissing High School in Reading, Pennsylvania, then received his bachelor's in communications from Shippensburg University, and lastly, earned his master's of education in sports management at Millersville University. Chris has been a lifelong coach for 20 years in the sport of lacrosse and used that passion after college to move himself into a career path with various sports organizations like US Lacrosse, where he spent 3 years as the manager of coaching education.
This opportunity then set him up for a dream job at the United States Olympic Committee. Chris then spent 9 years developing the coaches of elite athletes from the USA Olympic Committee. Recently, he moved to I9 Sports, where he hopes to build the largest youth sports organization in the entire world. And in addition to all the success, he has a wonderful wife named Sammy and two daughters, Penelope, who is 5, and Kala, who is 2. So everybody give a warm welcome to Chris Snyder.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome. Hey, thank you for that amazing introduction. It is great to be up here and back at PFEW. I've done this once before, and I know what you're all thinking right at this moment, especially the people in the back. You thought I would be much taller based off that introduction. I'm sorry, this is as tall as I get, so you got to squint your eyes. You also thought success would probably look a little different. I'd be a little skinnier, have more hair, things like that. Yes, I am up here because people said, you've been successful, you should talk to these kids. Don't judge a book by its cover, okay? Yes, working 40, 60 hours a week does something to your body, but I'll tell you what, it builds an amazing life. And I'm gonna try to convince you of that, all right? So let me get started trying to do those things. First, as you heard, I've been a lifelong coach. I love sports, I love coaching people. That's my why. When I was asked to come up to PFEW to speak with you, the reason why I'm here is because I love coaching other people. I get my fulfillment by seeing others succeed in life. Where I get that? I get it because I've had great coaches in my life. I've had bad coaches in my life. If you think back to any sports you played as an athlete, a young student, you've had good and bad. If you weren't big on sports, you've had people who've tried to coach you in your life that maybe helped you succeed, and those that, maybe didn't help you out at all. I'm here because I want to pay it forward to others and help others be successful, because I've had great coaches and bad coaches, and I just hope I could be a great coach for you for the next hour. So that's why I'm here. What I'm here to do, I'm here to do 2 things. One, I work in the coolest space. I work in sports, the business of sports. I get to coach, but I get to coach both on a field, in a boardroom, and anywhere else in business. I love working in the business of sport. And it's something that I want to show you career opportunities and career paths that you may not have thought about for your future. I don't think everybody in here is going to go into a career in sport, but I will tell you this. No matter what career you choose, you will be impacted by sport in one way or another. Because I'll tell you what, when you get older, you start to get into a business, manufacturing, things like that, you might get asked to make footballs. You might get asked to go market a new athlete. You might go into textiles and design gear that our Olympians are wearing overseas right now. It's a big thing and it's growing. I love it. I want to show you my passion and give you some ideas of where your future might take you. The second thing I want to do, I want to convince you that you could be brilliant. I opened up, dude, I'm short. I'm as tall as I am wide. I wrestled, it stunts your growth, right? Like, cool. I'm average. I'm as average as it comes. I don't have a sob story. I didn't lose a leg. Nothing bad happened to me. No one died that dramatically changed my direction in life. But what I did do is I found my passion. I found my passion a little bit later. And I'm going to talk to you about how average I am. My grades in high school and college were average. The first job I got was average. A lot of things that I had in my life are average. But when I look around at all of you, I already know one thing. You're all smarter than I was. I had a chance in high school to come to PFEW and I didn't do it. I didn't do it. My dad tried to convince me this would be awesome for your future. I was like, I'd rather go play sports, hang out with my friends. You're all smarter than me because you came here and you're doing this. So if you're smarter than me and I've done some cool stuff that I'm going to try to convince you might be awesome for your future, come be my boss one day. I challenge you. I ask you, come into sport, be my boss, work your butt off, do awesome, cool stuff, travel the world, or just connect into it. But I challenge you to go forth and be brilliant, because I'll tell you what, if I can do it, you can do it too. It just comes down to finding your passion and finding your purpose. You find those 2 things, that's brilliance. And I think you can go forth and be brilliant. All right, without further ado, let me convince you about the coolest job in the world, the one I have right now. It's freaking awesome. I work for a company called I9 Sports. I9 Sports is the largest youth sport franchising business in the entire United States. It's pretty cool. Let's check out a video. Yo, so right there, the way youth sports should be. Every day I get to go to work as the vice president of operations. What I do is I get to go ahead and try to help a team of people at a home office of about 40 try to be absolutely successful as we work with 182 owners across the whole US. Our company franchises, meaning people around the country say, I want a full-time job in youth sports. They then come to my company and say, yo, we want to go ahead and buy your trademark, which is your logo. We want to go ahead and get the best way to do things. We want you to coach us. We want you to give us technology. We don't want to go figure it out on our own because that's a waste of time and a waste of money. We'd rather pay you guys money so we could set up shop here and start making money by providing the way youth sports should be. Chick-fil-A, it's a franchising business. Some dude says, yo, I want to own a Chick-fil-A. If you qualify, you set it up, you run your business. I-9's the same way. You want to set up youth sports in your area and run it legit, we help you be a legit business. That's a franchise model. You might have a lot of local pizza shops. There's like 5 of them in your town. If you go to any one of them, many of those are not franchises. They're owned by one dude or one female that then goes ahead and tries to make them all work. The model of youth sports is super localized. And we've hit over 3 million athletes in our career. And we're growing and growing. We're still considered a mid-sized franchising company. We've gone ahead and become the largest in this space because everybody does youth sports a little different and at a really community level. We brought the business to it and we thought of the marketing. We thought of the sponsorships. We thought of the technology. We thought of all the other things that make it when you come between the ages of 3 and 14 to play with I-9, we found a way to make it absolutely awesome. We don't have a lot of them in Pennsylvania. So if you never played I-9, that's totally cool. But we're in a lot of other places. One thing that makes us unique and why I love it so much, we talk about sportsmanship. When you show up to play sports, at the end of the day, we legit, every single coach you have is going to talk to you about one of those sportsmanship values that are up there. It's not about elite training. It's not about 5 days a week and $2,000 that you got to be the top 10% to play. This is about everybody gets to play. And every single weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, kids get to do practice and play in the same day. Parents love it because it's super convenient. We love it because we can build an actual brand and make your satisfaction above what everybody else has always done. We're considered an innovator in this space. We only do sports that actually can help you be profitable. We do sports like soccer, flag football, 2 of the biggest sports in the United States, basketball, the biggest sport in the world, along with volleyball that we do. We also do lacrosse and t-ball, and then we do a multi-sport offering. Why do we do that? Because it makes smart business sense. Anyone in here swim? Cool, a couple swimmers? Yo, owning a pool is super expensive. Don't put one in your backyard, okay? You don't get that money back when you own a home. Pools are expensive. You're not gonna make a lot of money if you own a pool. There's just not enough cash. You gotta charge people a lot. With these sports, we have the science down so we can get tons of kids playing, provide a great experience, and charge a reasonable rate that doesn't outprice our customer or underprice us to the point nobody could actually run this as a full-time business. So we legitimize the concept. Again, we've had over 3 million kids play with us, and we're all around major cities around the US. We have 182 people in 1,000 locations. We've trained 350,000 coaches. They run youth sports in big areas. Now, we have about 200 more locations to fill in this map. And then, yeah, my goal, why I came here, we want to be the biggest youth sports organization in the world, the biggest youth franchise sport organization in the world. That's a pretty cool, big dream I have. How to do that? I have to work in everything. I have to work in marketing. I have to work across our business coaches. I legit have coaches whose job it is to coach these businesses all around the country to be profitable, to make sports successful and super fun. Okay? It's a fun thing to do. I get to do public speaking. I get to go ahead and think about our sports themselves and how we make them more fun for the kids. And I get to oversee how we do market research and figure out how every one of you, when you have a kid, will buy from us. Yes, we're literally already strategizing. When you all get older and decide to reproduce, yo, how do I get you to buy our product versus somebody else? Like, that's business, but it's fun because I get to work in something I love, which is sport. So I hope one day that I-9 Sports is on top of the world, #1 in the podium. I've gotten to this cool VP job because I've learned a lot of things along the way. But like I told you before, yo, I'm the most average person you've seen. And I want to tell you a bit about my journey and how I got here. Because again, you're all smarter than me because you're here. But two, when you see my grades, I bet majority of you are smarter than me or could be very quickly. So let me tell you a bit about where I came from. I came from Wyomissing. I am a Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania. I've lived in various other states, Maryland, Colorado. I've been in 16 different countries for my job. I've been in 43 of the 50 states. Yo, Pennsylvania is legit. Our colleges are really good. Our high schools are amazing. Don't switch and move to Colorado. Their high schools are not good educationally. Okay, I'm just telling you, they suck. All right, PA is awesome, and I love coming from Pennsylvania. I went to Wyomissing High School. Okay, we were the Spartans. If anybody in here is from around Wyomissing and Reading, I'm sorry that we probably kicked your butt, except for Wilson High School. You guys always destroyed us. I played a ton of sports growing up. I never specialized in one thing. I was good enough. I played lots of sports young. My dad introduced me to golf and tennis. I went to districts for golf one year. I wasn't a state qualifier. I was good, but I wasn't great. I played ice hockey, I played roller hockey, and I wrestled. I was okay. I didn't take education as serious as I know I wished I would have. This was my GPA. I had a 2.6 GPA. For anyone doing the math, that is a C average, not a C minus, not a C plus. I had a C average. That is average. Yo, C is average. My class rank was 68th out of 128 kids. Half the school I was above, and half the school was smarter than me in my grade. Yo, I was nothing special because I didn't find a passion or a purpose in high school. I didn't know what I wanted to be. When it came time to think about college, I went in undecided because I had no clue, but I knew what I loved. I love sports and I love playing with my friends. And that taught me something about how to get through the tough times when I needed to. Half you in this room, I guarantee, have better grades than me. Probably 70, 80% of you have better grades than me. And again, you're smarter because you're here. If I would have applied myself, man, I could kill it. That's why I think someone in here is my future boss. I went to college at Shippensburg University. I found two things. I went to wrestle. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go be a wrestler. I got a really bad concussion. After that, my little Italian mother said, Chris, you gotta play a sport with a helmet because I don't want you to get another concussion. So I tried lacrosse. I played club lacrosse for 3 years. I ended up actually getting another concussion and had to have a surgery. But man, my little Italian mother was happy I listened to her and tried a sport with a helmet. I found a passion though at Shippensburg. I went in undecided, didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I found a passion for communications. How do you get other people on your lacrosse team to do what they need to do when you needed to do it? I didn't know it at the time, but I was starting to prime myself to be a coach. What I did find, club college sports are run by the students. I became the president of our college club lacrosse program. I had to pay our dues. I had to do marketing to get new athletes. I got to design our swag. Designing swag is super fun, especially if you like Nike or Under Armour. I got to pick out the colors of the lacrosse shafts that we had. For some reason, I really wanted orange shafts, though our school colors were not that. But yo, I was the president. It was my decision. I got to learn a lot about business. I loved lacrosse and I loved sports. I graduated with a 2.99 GPA. Yo, my dad told me when he dropped me off at college, son, B's or better, or you come home. We're not going to college to spend this money for you to get C's and below. If you round up, I got a 3.0. So technically, I was successful if you round up. My dad actually is in this room. He's Ken Snyder. He's one of the company advisors that I think is in the back listening right now, over there in the corner, okay? So he probably loves me sitting here telling you, yo, if you round up, Dad, I was a success, right? And that's why I got to stay at school. But dude, my dad worked his tail off. He came from nothing, okay? My dad's one that should be up here if you want to hear about a guy at 5 years old being on a bread truck, working for a living because he needed to help his family get money. My dad will give you that story. He busted his butt to make sure all 3 of his kids went through college. We weren't the richest, we weren't poor in any way. He gave me every opportunity I wanted, but it was up to me to make the decision. At Ship, yeah, I got by, I got a 3.0. I love sport. He gave me that opportunity and I'm thankful. And I was just starting to find my passion. And then, well, this happened. I graduated school. It was time to think about a real life and a real job. And I got every parent's dream. My dad's dream for sure, because when your kids go through college, the biggest fear is this: are they gonna get a job? Yo, I got a job. I got a suit and tie job. I wrote procedure manuals for big companies. That company was called Alcosan, the city of Pittsburgh. When you flush your toilet in Pittsburgh, I wrote procedure manuals of what happened after you flush your toilet and what happens to what was in that toilet. That is not a very glorious job in theory, but I know what happens to crap in Pittsburgh. And I wrote the book on it, okay? This is the cool thing though. I got a company car. I got an Acura RSX. It's a small kind of sports car back in 2002. They're pretty cool. I was 22 years old, man, with a company car, a job, a suit and tie, every parent's dream. It paid $32,000. That's average. I thought I was cool. Dude, that's average. Right now, that's 15 bucks an hour. You can make that working at any Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Target in the whole US, no college degree. That's average. But I thought I was cool. Why I tell you that? It's every parent's dream. He has a job, a future, and transportation. Get him out of my house. Okay? But I could have just continued to coast, and I knew I was coasting at that point in my life. Again, no sob story, nothing crazy. But all of a sudden, something clicked. I found a passion. This is my passion. I was walking around at a local gym, and somebody came up to me because I had a lacrosse shirt on and said, yo, we need a coach. We're Alvernia College. We're starting a college NCAA program. We need a coach. You must know lacrosse because you've got the t-shirt. Would you coach us? I was like, yo, I'm the man. I got a company car. I got a job. Yeah, I'll coach you. I think I'm awesome. Knowing it was nothing special. Yo, I loved it. I went, I absolutely loved it. I invested in those boys as a side job, got paid $2,000, okay, to coach. And I love coaching kids. But here's the one thing I will say, this is my one life event. We went 0-10. We lost every single game, and the average loss was 10 goals. In lacrosse, for those that don't know it, that's getting your butt kicked 10 times every single game. That is failure. I loved coaching. I was a pretty average person. And now that I know so much about coaching, I know what average is. The average coach loses their first 3 seasons as a brand new coach. They have at least 3 losing seasons in their first 10 years is the average for most coaches in any sport. I was average. I had to make a decision. Do I want to be average anymore? Or do I want to follow a passion? I got excited. And this is what made the difference. I saw this quote. This is Nelson Mandela. He has an amazing quote. I never lose. I either win or learn. And I knew I had a decision to make. Do I want to be a failure here? Do I want to just be average? Or do I want to follow a passion that I started getting excited about? And I decided, yo, I want to learn. I want to learn because I want to do something here. And this is my thing. So I stepped up. I said, let's do this. I decided to go back to school to learn. And that's my first point for you. At any point in life, when it comes, I want you to think there's no failures. There's just an opportunity to win or learn. And if you learn, you can go win the next time. Life is full of failures. I fail on a daily basis. I tell my team about it at I9 Sports. But I learn and get better every day. So that's my first point for you. This helped me because I went to Millersville University to get a sport management degree. I gave up every parent's dream of a steady job and a paycheck, and I went back to school. I found a mentor, and I begged Coach Barb Waltman, she's the person that's in the picture at the bottom corner, who was the winningest Division II head coach in lacrosse history at the time. I begged her to let me be a volunteer assistant paid at $0. Coach, can you just teach me how to win? And she's like, Chris, I can't teach you how to win. That comes from working hard and not wishing for winning, but working hard to make sure your athletes are in a position to win. She mentored me to be a human first, a coach second, a friend third, and everything else takes care of itself. She taught me how to coach, and I fell in love with coaching. My degree was sport management, and all I wanted to do was go to be a coach. So I gave up the dream, I went back to school, but my passion kicked in. How do I know my passion kicked in? These were my grades. I went from average to way above average, a 3.75 GPA. The biggest thing that's up there, the cost of my master's degree was $2,000. That was the cost of my books. I got my entire $40,000 master's degree paid for because I was willing to do the work and match my passion and my purpose. I Coach Waltman helped me get a grad assistantship. As a grad assistant, they gave me tuition. They allowed me to get health insurance. They made me run a dormitory. Then they asked me to help run the weight room. Then they asked me to help run camps in the summer. Then they helped me to do this and do that. They either gave me extra money or waived credits. I came out not in debt in any way, and it only cost me $2,000 for books because I matched my passion with my purpose and was willing to do this. Say yes. Anytime somebody came to me and said, yo, Chris, would you try this? Could we get you to do this? Could you get you to do that? I said yes to it. And this is my next point that I'm gonna beat like a drum for the next 30 minutes. Yo, you've gotta say yeses to opportunities in your life when they come to you. You can't be too cool for school and not wanna do the hard work. You can't just hope for things to happen for you. When you find your passion, you have to work for things to happen for you. Don't be afraid to say yes to opportunity. By me saying yes, I was able to waive $38,000 in school loans, going ahead and making sure I had a place to live and health insurance. That was a victory for an average kid that had a 3.0, well, if you rounded up in college, and a 2.66 in high school, which is average. Cool, so I said yes. This is actually what I really got excited about as I was there. I want to tell you about the global business of sport because, and I updated these numbers from when I went to school to now. Yo, this opened my eyes to everything by saying yes. I saw every part of a university operation. What I saw was the business of sport. First thing, the global sports market is a $5.56 billion market across the world. The US holds 35% of that. It's a humongously growing industry across the world. Two, in the US, these are the numbers from 2009 all the way up to what they're projecting for 2023. Yo, it has doubled in about 10 years. When I went to school, it was a $43 billion business. It's now almost a $90 billion business. And here's the thing, these numbers, they don't include people who gamble on sports. Gambling on sports in the US is a $90 billion business today. If you put those together, it doubles the value of the sport industry. Now, I will not advocate for any of you to go into a career in gambling because you could win or lose and it's a pretty rough space. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of opportunity in the country because people love sports and they love to bet on them. Yo, that means a lot of career opportunity. Viewership. If you like a sport, these numbers show in 2018, a third of the whole United States watches the NFL. Baseball is up there. The thing in the middle is a rising opportunity. It's called esports. Back in the day, my dad used to yell at me about playing Nintendo and Sega and other stuff. Yo, you can make a living doing that. And not only can you make a living, more people watched it in 2018 than the NHL and Major League Soccer combined. It was as big as the NBA 3 years ago. Now, if I show you the numbers, these are the projections for esports now. They're in the middle, okay? Actually, sorry, they're second to the top. They're projected to be viewed by 84 million people a year. That is the second most viewed sport in America to the NFL. Sports like baseball are dropping down. Major League Soccer is starting to grow. Hockey's standing still and the NBA is growing. Yo, these are the sports that are on TV. Whether you like them or don't, there are business opportunities in your future to connect into these. And it's super fun. How many people here have ever been to a professional sporting event? How many have ever been to a college sporting event? How many here have ever been to one of your high school sporting events? Majority of people in the room. Yo, it's super fun. There's food, there's music, there's bands, there's crazy people cheering, there's the business behind the scenes, there's all sorts of jobs you could have. You could run the team, you could run the stadium, you could run just about anything. It connects into sport and it pulls the business stuff that you all are talking about over the course of this great week. Last thing I'll show you. Number of people who show up to these events. The United States has 3 of the top 10 most attended sports in the world. The NFL, college sports, and football. On the other side is the Olympics, the thing that I'll tell you about my journey in a couple minutes. Yo, the Olympics happens once every 2 years. 6.2 million people go to the Olympics to go to events. It is the biggest sporting event in the world every 2 years. And if you think 6.2 million people are gonna be in an area, if you decide to go into hospitality, if you decide to go into tech, if you decide to go into local city commerce, things like that, If an Olympics is close to you, you'll make more money if you know how to leverage it. If you like sporting events, that's a cool thing to be a part of. So I wanted to show you, just to open your eyes, that there's so much opportunity in the world of sport. My first job after I graduated with my master's degree was me saying yes to an opportunity to work for a company called Jet Services. What we did is, at the Baltimore Ravens, the Lancaster Barnstormers, the York Revolution, 2 minor league baseball stadiums, the Naval Academy, and various other pro locations, we got to run cotton candy, snow cones, Dippin' Dots, lemonade, sugar. Sugar makes money. We got to literally get a ton of kids to walk around the stadiums and sell those things. At a baseball stadium, a cotton candy cost $3. To make it and sell it cost me 10 cents. We would make $2.90 on every cotton candy sold. That's business. That's business at sport locations. I got to travel to all these places. I got to manage a group of kids. I got to go and see how to become an operations person. And I got to attend these sporting events. I watched a ton of football games from the Ravens stadiums. All of this work here was part-time. Wasn't full-time. It was $23,000 a year, no health benefits. That's a step back from my parents' dream job, if you remember, that paid 32 grand. I said yes to this opportunity because 1, it was going to be cool. 2, I love sports. 3, I was following my passion to coach people. I'm still coaching at this time, but what I found is I could coach people in business. So I got a bunch of high school kids to come with me that I coached to be my staff. And we learned how to make money. We started selling lemonades like crazy, and I started making more money and paying them more. It was a great opportunity. I learned the business of sport. I also learned, when you go to a professional stadium and you see your parents drinking beer, they get that beer, I'm not kidding, for 2 cents. And we sell it to your dad or mom for $9. That is an $8.58 markup. We make bank. We then pay out every single person that touches that piece of alcohol. We make a lot of money off it. That money does a lot of cool things. There's a huge business in there. And again, there's another thing. Beverage companies, you go work for Coca-Cola, sports are a big part of Coca-Cola's advertising. Anything you do, sport could be connected into it. So I did this. It was a below average paycheck, but it gave me a passion and allowed me to learn. I said yes to the work and I started learning. And I failed along the way. Absolutely. I had bad staff. I had good staff. I learned how to fire people. That is horrible. I hope you never have to do it. But I learned how to hire people and how to interview kids that wanted to kick butt and take names. I said yes to the work. So again, I want you to say yes when you see cool opportunities. It paid less money, but I said yes to it because I could see my passion matching where I wanted to go. That then led me to this. I went and I interviewed and I got a job with US Lacrosse, the governing body of sport for the sport of lacrosse. So if anybody here has ever played the sport of lacrosse, this is the highest ranking job in coaching out there if you want to teach others lacrosse. I had it for 3 years. I got to be in magazines, US Lacrosse Magazine, Inside Lacrosse. I built mobile apps on how to teach people how to coach lacrosse. And I ended up having 100 different staff people across the country teach the sport. And I had to run that business. I had to work with marketing. I had to work with educational experts. I had to literally get out with our national team, awesome athletes, and see how they did things and then try to get others to teach the same thing. It was a great experiment for me because what I ended up with was going from 15 employees to 100 employees. They're all part-time, but they're passionate. And this was the biggest thing. I had to influence 40,000 coaches. This 5'5" by 5'5" human being had to influence 40,000 coaches in men's and women's lacrosse. How do you do that? You don't. You say yes to the work, you start to collaborate with everybody you can, and you always think it's win or learn. It's never failure. And I started to work across all of the different parts of business for us to be successful and reach our audience. That set me up for my next opportunity. Here's an average guy doing above average thing because I figured out how to coach others, follow my passion, and get others to work together in the business world. I said yes to the work. It set me up for this, the Olympic Committee, Team USA, 70 sports and 7.5 million coaches. They gave me a job and said, we want you to influence the coaching of every coach in our country and the best coaches in the world. My job was to be the director of coaching and coach education. I had to help every coach that coaches our national team athletes, soccer, baseball, badminton, rugby, every one of them. I had to put programming together to make them the best in the world. Coach K, who coaches at Duke and coached our men's basketball team, if you ever heard that name, my job was to build programming that would make Coach K even better. That's a tough thing to do. But that was the challenge that was put in front of me because I said yes to the work early and cool things happened. Let me show you a bit about it.
You can do whatever you want to do in this world. Put your mind to it, put your grind to it, and you can do it. Get inspired, don't shine. Get up. You are great. You are magnificent. Get up.
Okay, so pretty awesome sizzle reel. That was one of our videos getting us pumped up for the 2028 Olympics that's going to be held in Los Angeles. When you host a home Olympics, money comes into your country, people get excited, sponsors and different companies come to the table because the whole world is going to be looking at you. If you remember my statistic, in Rio, the last Summer Olympics, 6.2 million people bought tickets and showed up in Rio to go to events. That's a lot of people at a 2-week sporting event. That's a lot of money that comes into your country, as well as it inspires a generation. The number of young athletes that see the Olympics and then start to go after success goes up by 500% after an Olympics is shown on TV. Your whole country, when you host it, gets excited about it because you're showing the world what's up. So in 2028, America is going to show the world what's up. Actually, right now, we're winning the medal count in the Tokyo Olympics, showing them what's up, and I hope we continue to do that. It's an awesome thing to be a part of, but it was a big job and a big step for me to go to the Olympic Committee in 2012 to become their director of coaching. Why I got that opportunity is because I was doing things creative. They saw that in my coaching programming, I was actually not doing it all myself. I was working across a lot of different areas to use social media, to use mobile technology, to use sports science, to use educational aspects that really hit the coaches versus telling you, oh, you have to read this entire book and it's going to make you better. When in reality, all of us know, if you just Google search Cliff Notes of it, I can get the highlights and I can get through this really quickly, right? I was figuring out how to make Cliff Notes for the best coaches in the world to make them better and proving this was better than the traditional way we've always done it. It wasn't me, it was because I empowered a team, because I was a coach. It was also because I was passionate and I was excited about the business. Remember, I'm average. I was scared out of my mind to take this job. I remember arguing with my dad when I went for the interview. He was telling me, you got to wear a suit and tie. You got to wear a really nice tie. Yo, do you guys see this? There's no neck here really. I'm kind of shaped like an orange with 2 legs. Like a tie doesn't look good on this. I haven't worn a tie since my grandmother's funeral, who I love, God rest her soul. Why should I wear a tie to this interview to impress these Olympic people? My dad said, you got to wear a tie. I did. I wore the tie. Within 3 minutes, I'm not kidding, my future boss told me, yo, take off that tie. You look ridiculous. To my face. I took the tie off and he told me a year later, Yo, I just want to let you know, when you walked in, I wasn't going to hire you. The moment you took that tie off, you exploded. It was like somebody super passionate. You relaxed and just set in and you blew everyone away. And that's when I knew I was hiring you. And I was like, awesome. Dad, I'm sorry, you don't know everything. You know a lot, I appreciate you, but you don't know everything. You should wear a tie if they expect you to wear a tie. I took a risk and it paid off, okay? Don't be me, but it worked out. Okay. Why I tell you that story is, yo, I was nervous. I'm an average kid. I didn't have great grades, but I'm passionate. But when I took that tie off, I went after it because I knew it was about winning or learning. And I knew I was going to say yes to all the work. By doing those two things, I could be with them. And I could also say, are you with me? So together, we went after building the best coaches in the world for the past 9 years. I got to go to the London Olympics. I got to go to the Russian Olympics in Sochi. I got to go ahead and be a part of the Olympics in Rio, where we won the most medals ever in a non-boycotted year. I went to Pyeongchang, Korea, and spent about 4 weeks away from my new baby daughter, which is not a good thing for your marriage, but we're through it. And my daughter still loves me. And I would have been in Tokyo if it happened a year ago. But I changed jobs, and I'll tell you in a minute why I changed jobs. It's for the right reasons. But let me tell you a little bit more about the business I got to work in. Yo, when you work for the United States in the Olympics and you walk into a room, like I got to go to South Africa to speak to a whole bunch of sport experts. When you walk in the room, I'm like, yeah, I'm the man. They're like, we hate you. I'm like, oh my God, why do you guys hate Americans so much? Like, no, we don't hate Americans, we hate you because you guys kick everybody's butt and we're all chasing you. So I had to learn about why we kick so much butt and take so many names. I had to learn about sports science. I had to learn about how we provide nutrition to our athletes. I had to figure out how to convince coaches that mental health is a legit thing. Yo, have you ever tried to convince a bunch of, like, I don't know, people who've always done it the same way to do it different, or try to teach your parents how to use social media? It's frustrating, man. It's like, yo, seriously, like you just hit that button. It's called a like. Like, just put it up there. No, we don't want to see what you ate for lunch, Mom. I mean, teaching somebody, it's frustrating. Yo, when you try to teach a bunch of wrestling coaches that are big, tough, mean, and strong, that you have to think about your athlete's mental well-being and prioritize that over their body, because if the mind's not healthy, the body and the soul won't perform. That's a tough thing to do. So I had to learn from experts that did that and then try to convince others we would be better, win more medals if we put in a mental health program. We had to go convince coaches that rest and recovery was super important to being able to run faster and run farther. We had to show the science to people that had been there, done that, but say we could be even better. I then had to learn about the marketing of that and how you go ahead and sell that online to a bunch of coaches in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, that are helping little kids. Because if we're doing this at the top and it can help those kids and we don't get it down, that lead we have on the rest of the world of kicking so much butt and winning so many medals goes away, because we can't do it the way it's always been done. That was my job. Yo, I'm an average kid with average grades, but I had to figure out how to get super pumped up and passionate and go after things. I tell you all that because there's so much business you could tie into. So we started using social media. We started building mobile apps. We started building websites and online training. We started doing all sorts of cool stuff and reaching out to people outside of sport to make us successful. Here's the one thing that I think had allowed me to last 9 Olympic Games. My boy Yoda. Every one of us is going to have a Yoda in our life. Okay, if you didn't see Star Wars, he's the little green goblin that basically tells the hero, yo, shut your mouth and listen to me, and you're going to learn something. What Yoda really wants you to do is not only shut your mouth, listen, but remember what he says. So when the time comes, you can put that into play. And that's kind of my third takeaway for you. If you say yes to all the work, you constantly think it's win or learn, and you're willing to shut your mouth, listen, and remember what other smart people say, you'll be my boss. I told you I'm average. I didn't come to this. I should have. But when I started shutting up and listening to people smarter than me, and yo, there's so many. I left my job 6 months ago. I'm not kidding. I asked my friend how many people applied for my old job. 1,258. From 18 different countries. 30% of them have a PhD, and 80% all have a master's degree. I left my job, and people way smarter than me want my job. When I got my job, I asked my old boss how many people applied for my job. 539. He said about 20% had a PhD. The rest of them all had master's degrees. And 10 of them went to Harvard. And I, an average kid from Wyomissing, Shippensburg, and Millersville, got a job over dudes that went to Harvard, ladies that went to Stanford. Yo, I did, because I was willing to do the work. I figured out this business of sport and how to connect into others. I was good at coaching people and had stuff to prove for it. When I got to the Olympic Committee, everybody around me was smarter than me. So I shut my mouth, I listened, and I remembered what they were saying. If you can do that, and then you can start to use your passion to motivate others, you can kick some butt. And we did. Everything when you get to punching above your body weight or to big jobs or big moments in life is about growth. If you can grow every day in your work, you're gonna keep your job, you're gonna do awesome things and go to cool places. I got to actually contribute to amazing Olympic events because of getting coaches to do cool things and pulling in all the sports science and all the other cool people. This is Jesse Diggins and Keegan Randall. In the Pyeongchang Olympics, they did something that's never been done before, and I just want to make a point using this video. Let's check this out. We're going to crank up the music too.
Ski smart, stay out of trouble, and just be strong at the end.
This is the final of the women's team sprints. Away, Sweden, USA, it's Randall, and it's Bjorgen, and it's Kaller. These three should have the medals between them. Tempo lifts. And Randall to Diggins. It's her turn to ask some questions of Norway and Sweden. History beckons for the United States. This is rare air indeed for them to be breathing. Couple of hundred
We've
meters
never
to
won
go.
a
It's
medal ever
anybody's.
in this
Final
sport.
stretch, I was just thinking, go, go, go.
It's Sweden and the United States. Nelson or Diggins.
I'm saying, Diggy! Yeah, we did it.
Feels unreal. Like I can't believe it just happened. Just win the Olympics.
The answer was yes. Yes, you did. You just won the Olympics. That had never been done in the history of our country. It was the first cross-country medal we ever won, the women's team sprint. This was the difference between the first ever gold medal and second place. This was the difference. It's not very big, right? That's pretty small. Small room for small margin for error. This was the difference between being on a cereal box or eating from a cereal box with the person who beat you on it. That's a very small margin of victory, right? When it comes down to helping athletes achieve their dreams, whether you're a coach, you're in the business of sport, you're a sponsor of them and got them Powerade, supplements, you got them equipment and gear that made them go super fast, you designed their skis or design wax that goes on the skis, everybody's got to work together because when the error is this small, the room for error is that small, everything matters. That's what's super cool about the business of sport. Everybody's got to come together and can have a hand in helping us do something that's never been done in the world. And that's what I get super excited on a daily basis to get up and go do. And we built a lot of awesome stuff. I built so many things because it was about making others better. And I used my 3 core values. Say yes to the work, go ahead and make sure that you're never losing, you're always learning. And then I made sure that my boy Yoda was reminding me what to do next. Shut up and listen and remember. So we built mobile apps. We built systems to train coaches across the country. We helped coaches win Olympic medals. It's super fun to represent your country, for sure. I was on top of the world. I told you, a lot of people wanted my job. 6 months ago, I gave it up. Average kid decided I had enough. It was time to do something different. I had a company come calling that said, hey, Chris, you've helped so many people try to be great coaches. What if you did it for all the little kids that are out there? What if you came to I9 Sports and would think about this?
You know me,
I'm the kid who acts up in class.
the budding all-star, the bookworm, the kid that gets the class. I'm 8, 12, 10,
I'm every kid in America. And like I said,
I'm waiting. Waiting for a coach to inspire me to do this and this.
and sometimes,
Even this
all I need
is a coach. Teachers are coaches. Parents are too.
if you're a neighbor,
Relative or friend, then you can be a coach too. Coach me.
I love that video. That video gets me pumped up. Why? Those are my girls. My wife, Sammy, Calla, C-A-L-L-A. It means beautiful in Greek. She's 2, the little redhead in the middle. And that's Penelope. Penelope's 5. Penelope's got an attitude. She's P. She goes by the letter P. No, call me P. What's your name? P. What's your real name? P. It's actually Penelope. I'm P. Yeah. I love my girls. And when I saw that video, actually 5 years ago, I helped make that original video I showed you with Nike. Nike and I got to collaborate on building a mobile app called How to Coach Kids. And it teaches youth coaches how to do all the right things for kids under the age of 12 when they come into their youth sport experience. We got to fly out to Portland, go to Nike, see their gigantic, humongous campus, and we got to bring in the best sports scientists in the world to talk about how do you make sure that kids, many of you, because 5 years ago, many of you were playing in youth sports. Yeah, how do you have the best experience in the world? And how do we build a training to help coaches? We made that video and it made me cry as I started, to think about my kids. And when I got a phone call from I9 Sports, who does flag football, soccer, volleyball, lacrosse, t-ball, and they said, yo, come help us give every single kid the best coach they could possibly have. I thought about my kids and it got me passionate and it got me crazy again. Average guy finding his passion and putting it to his purpose. And I said, sayonara to the Olympic Committee 6 months ago. I said, I want to go do that. They asked me to stay. They offered me more money. Yo, best experience in the world when you're going to leave a job and they say, yo, we'll pay you more to stay and not leave. And then you say, yo, I'm leaving anyway. Yo, that's an awesome feeling. I hope you all get that experience in life. It's like, yo, later, man, I'm going to go do something great. Every one of my friends right now is telling me I'm stupid because I should be working with the best athletes in the world, the top 1%. And I'm sitting here saying to them, I said yes to the hard work, yes to my passion, and yes to the things that I know that made an average kid punch above his body weight, outkick his coverage, do amazing things. I chose I9 Sports. 50,000 coaches right now, okay, on a yearly basis. We've impacted 350,000 in our lifetime. We've impacted 3 million kids. We'll hit 600,000 kids this year coming out of COVID. We have 180 owners and we're in 1 country. I picked this because I want every single kid in the world to have an amazing sport experience. And I'm passionate about it. Big reason why I chose it, not just my kids, there's a gap. I want to come back to what you're learning about business and what you're thinking. Yo, when you find a gap in the marketplace and you attack that gap, that is where greatness is made. Traditional youth sports, these are headlines from different newspapers around the world, around our country, about all the bad things going on in youth sports. Parents are nuts right now. Kids are nuts, okay? In here, there's highlights talking about an alarming rise in concussions, okay? Talking about there's fraud going in youth sports organizations, okay? Sport rage is on the rise. One of them is in here, police, a dad attacked a youth sport coach and bit his ear, okay? Literally, some dude bit some dude's ear over a youth sports game. Like, that's nuts. Youth sports are crazy right now, man. Somebody's got to make it better. There's a gap. We're being pushed to say, you've got to be an Olympian and pay me a ton of money and be elite and train 7 days a week. Yo, for some people, yes, if you're that good and that passionate, go do it. But for every one of us in here, yo, we should play sports every weekend. It keeps you healthy, keeps you active, and I bet you're gonna love it. There's a gap, and if you attack that gap with your business, with your team, you can do great things. We're only in 1 country right now. We have plans to expand to 4 more in the next 6 years. I hope, and I'm gonna work my butt off to see that every single kid in the world has an opportunity to play I9. Will I achieve it? I don't know. I don't know if it's realistic, but I'll tell you what, I'm an average kid that if he gets super pumped up can make cool things happen. Everyone in here is smarter than me because you're here. You got a head start. Yo, I want you to come on and think about how you could get into the business of sport, maybe be my boss one day and help me achieve that. Let me tell you a little bit more about it and then I'll wrap up.
For many kids, this is going to be their first opportunity to play team sports. On opening day, they might be shy, holding their parents' hand, but by the end of the season, the parents are holding them back because they're so excited to get on the field.
There is nobody in the country that's providing the same kind of youth sports experience that I9 Sports provides.
I would definitely recommend I9 Sports to other parents because of the flexibility and the fun that my son has. He's looking forward to it before the season even starts. And that's all I heard for at least the solid 8 weeks. How many more days?
We will be playing I9 Sports for years to come.
Cool. So the way youth sports should be, again, the franchising model. We sell you the ability to run your own small business in this. We are in the business of recreation youth sports. We're in the business of that. Unlike everybody else, we're not a youth sport organization. There's a difference. We're in the business of it versus being a nonprofit in it. Here's the difference. If you just run a nonprofit youth sport organization, what normally happens in our communities, you know, your little league that's run by your youth program, your high school program, the YMCA programs, there's no incentive for them to work really hard. You get a salary, maybe $32,000 a year, like my first job. And they say, give kids sport. You beg volunteer parents to come and help you, and you get whatever money that you get from the public. There's no incentive for you to make it better. There's no reason to make it really passionate. And if you get a better job offer, you'll leave. There's no one to stick around and run it. When you own your own business and you're running your own business, you're putting your passion and your purpose together to go ahead, kick butt, take names, and be successful. Yo, we're in the business of empowering people across the country to buy our franchises in recreation youth sports and make them awesome. They stick around longer. We give them technology and tools to be successful, and we partner with other organizations like USA Football. We just signed a national sponsor partnership with USA Football. I'm the chair of their high performance committee for flag football. They're going to try to get flag football in the Olympics in 2028. I get to oversee and help them with that. They're partnering with my company, I9, to make sure that flag football is done the right way at all of our locations and to influence other flag football companies like NFL Flag, Under Armour, Under the Lights, to make flag football legit. And we want to make sure that every single state has varsity girls flag football as a high school sport by 2028. It's a lofty goal. We also want to help girls have college scholarships to play flag football. Those are crazy lofty goals. But yo, we're in the business of recreation youth sports. As a business, I can talk to them and we can figure out these huge ideas. If all I cared about was everybody in my area that wants to play paying me money, there's no passion to make it even better. So the franchising model is pretty cool. We invented this concept, is what we say, because we're the biggest franchisor in the space and we do it in a unique way. We're also have stood up to the test of time. In COVID, yeah, we took a hit. We got smaller, but all of our competition, I'm not kidding, more than half of our competitors that tried to do this space went out of business. We are now back stronger than we ever have been, and we sold more franchises across the country in COVID than we did in a non-COVID year. More people lost their jobs and say, screw this, I want to go do something I'm passionate about and love and give kids a chance to play sport. They bought franchises from us, and now post-COVID, they're opening up across the country. This has been a super fun ride working for I9, leaving the Olympic Committee, learning what I did at lacrosse, taking what I learned at Jet Services, but really finding my passion in coaching, finding my passion in sport and the crazy business that sport is that could connect to every one of you in the future. And again, I told you, I'm here to do two things. I want to let you know sport's an awesome thing, and whether you decide to go that route or connect into it later in life, it'll be a fun thing. The growth in the sport business has doubled in the past 10 years. It's something to think about, or it's super fun to be a part of. And I hope you can feel my passion for it. The other thing that I want to show you is I've been on a cool journey. I'm an average kid. You're all smarter than me, and I hit the top of the podium. I'm going to continue to go after the top of that podium because I'm matching my passion with my purpose. And that's brilliant to me. So the last thing I have to say to you all is, yo, one, come and get me. Come be my boss, because you're all smarter than me. But 2, I want you to go forth and be brilliant. So remember these things. Say yes to the work. Yo, shut your mouth, listen, and remember what people say that are smarter than you. And yo, smart people love to brag. So listen to their ideas. They're going to help you. And the last thing, you never lose. You either win or you learn. Cool. Go forth, be brilliant. Thanks for having me, all.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. As is PFEW tradition, me and Sydney would like to present you with this token of our appreciation.
Yo, cheers. Appreciate it. Give me some love. Take that. You take that. I still got a mic.
Thank you so much.
Yo. Thank you for this. Believe it or not, when you have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old and you go home empty-handed, they get mad. So when you show up, look at the certificate I got. Yo, like that's the thing. I'm a superhero for a day. Dad's so cool. You got a cool certificate. Yo, they brag to their 5-year-old friends. I'm not kidding. So you may be a superhero at home when I get home later tonight. Thank you so much for having me. Did you guys want to do, what else we got?
Awesome job, man.
Okay.
All right. Chris is going to be around if you want to come up to him, talk to him about sports, talk to him about sports management or whatever. He'll be around for a little bit. CEOs, you have a meeting in the theater. The rest of you, enjoy your lunch.